Morning, Mom. Morning, Marina. Hey, Dee. Lori, hello. Allie. Wow, Kelly, you're being really consistent with your meditations. This is cool. Nicole, there you are. There you are, Nicole. There you are. Jessica Porsche. Good morning, Dee. Body by Shante. Look at this. This is exciting. Yeah. I'm glad you guys are all here. So it's decided. So we have 1 week left. A week from today is our last one of these. So day 100 is next Thursday. There'll be many other things though. I'm not going away. Just different formats. Perhaps live breathing classes on the weekends. We'll talk about it. Oh, yeah, you weren't lying about yoga, Nicole. That's rad. Don't you dare wash your hair either. Come as you are. Vinyasa. Ekam inhale, dve exhale. Trini inhale, Chatvari, jump back. Pancha and Shat. We're gonna do it out in the sun. It's gonna be great. Lori's gonna be there, Nicole. It's all right. They space the mats like 9 feet apart, so no one's going to smell your hair, Nicole. Don't worry. And then later I get to shift gears and be on a panel for my real estate office on how realtors are coping with the post-quarantine real estate market. So I get to take off yogi hat, put on real estate hat. Fun. I get to dance and juggle. Yeah, I hope so too, Kelly. Come on down. There's lots of great yoga here. Yeah, it's going to be warm soon, as you know, though. I'm going to read a little bit from our book, Ancient Wisdom from a New Age, for a New Age. And it never fails. Whenever I pick this thing up and I just flip it open to a random page, it's so freaking appropriate. So here's what I flipped to this morning randomly. And you know, we can make anything appropriate, but this is extra appropriate. This is the section on page 121 called The Divine Architect. Who's the Divine Architect? Is there a Divine Architect? What did he come up with? What did he create? Or she, or it? So I'm going to skip the very first part of that, but this is the section on the Divine Architect. So students ask us frequently, what about the devil? The concept of Satan. So disclaimer, this is just opinions and this is just personal perspectives. Don't believe it, just hear it. Might make sense, might not. It's interesting to note that the percentage of people who believe in God has not changed much over time, but the percentage of people who believe in Satan, also known as the devil, has declined. The truth is, though, there's more evidence of a personal devil than of a personal God who hears our personal prayers and answers them. So what do we mean by that? Every human being has a dual nature. Every human has a dual nature. There's the divine nature, the indwelling Atma or spirit, but there's also a baser, more evil nature in all of us. In some people, this dichotomy is very apparent. Some days they are radiant angels, other times they are raving devils. Some are completely incapable of repressing their lower nature and it comes to the surface with the slightest provocation. Most people, however, manage to keep it under control, often for years at a time. In these people, the lower nature has not ceased to exist, but it only comes to the surface in moments of great stress. Pink cloud, Celine. The lower nature also surfaces during riots or other events where mob mentality reigns and the basest of our animal nature manifests. Often the worst aspects of human nature are expressed during war and acts of violence, but the opposite may be true for a few individuals. And in the atrocities of others may intensify their own divine compassion. Over many lifetimes, many who have made a certain amount of progress in spiritual development are unaware of a hidden factor, the so-called dweller on the threshold. What is that? Well, it's the apt description of something that comes up at some point for everyone on the spiritual path. It may not show up during this particular lifetime, but it will at some point. No personal energy ever dissipates on its own unless we have done something to retrain and reorient it. It remains in the background for years. Then, just when we think we are making great spiritual progress, the increase in positive energy awakens the sleeping negative energy, and we find ourselves face to face with an entity of our own making. Although unknown to us, we have no choice but to do battle with this entity. But it is no physical battle. It is entirely psychological in nature, taking place in the astral realm, which is where the emotions exist, and in the lower mental realms where thoughts exist, although the effects are often felt on the physical plane as well. If we vanquish this dweller on the threshold, we've taken a major step in our own progress. If we shrink back in fear and cower, we have lost the battle. It means we are not yet ready for the difficulties of the higher spiritual life, and we have more work to do before we will have another opportunity to prove ourselves. The battle is seldom a one-time event, but more often a series of battles. The temptation of Jesus in the desert is a good example of the battle between the higher and lower forces within a person on the verge of spiritual advancement. As you see, dauntless courage is not just an idle phrase. So we all have this dual nature within us. For most of us, it's relatively repressed. But the higher self and the lower self will have an opportunity to do battle. It's not unlike the battle that Arjuna faces in the Bhagavad Gita. Does our lower nature win in this lifetime, or does our higher nature win? Let's meditate on that. Please sit tall. Adjust your spine. Move the shoulders around. Nicole, I lit the sage this morning and it's potent. It's burning. It smells good. Let the eyes gently close. Let the hands rest on the knees or in the lap. Turn your attention inward for a moment and check out what's going on inside the abdomen, inside the belly, inside the throat. Lengthen the inhale and the exhale. Gentle ujjayi in the throat. Understanding that when we breathe like this, we're taking the steps towards unifying and creating a symmetry of consciousness between lower nature and higher nature, so we can see clearly our actions, our reactions, make clear decisions. Breathing consciously is the first step. Yoga means union. We unify our base nature with our higher nature, and then they're transmuted into one. That's the union of yoga. So let's create this movement of energy with the breath. I'll typically ask you to breathe up and down the spine with your breath, so let's do that. Just develop an awareness that the inhale takes you from the base of the spine up to the crown of the head and then back down as your body exhales. If you're a visual person, you can visualize this as a ball of light or a candle flame lifting up when you inhale and lowering back down as you exhale. If you're not a visual person, just perhaps feel sensations in the spine. Develop awareness from the base of the spine to the crown of the head. Maybe slightly moving the body a little bit to develop spatial awareness of the physical body. Now, after a few breaths like this, extend the length of this kriya, this movement, from the base of the spine to a place higher than the top of the head, outside of the physical body, up into the ether above, the space above, the universe above the head. This helps loosen our connection, loosen our rootedness into the physical body, and assists us in reorienting ourselves to our higher nature. Slow the breath down now and go even longer with the inhales and exhales. If you can count to yourself, try a 10-second inhale and exhale. See if it's possible. If that's too much, just stay with 7 or 8 seconds, whatever's comfortable. Don't let the shoulders lift though, keep them relaxed. The collarbones do lift, but not the shoulders. Okay, please release the breathing technique and just let your mind rest in the heart space, deep inside the heart. Imagine if you had a brain there. Imagine if your gray matter was no longer inside your skull, but it's inside your heart. Go there with your consciousness. Think about what's there. Feel about what's there. And the process of actively transforming our lower nature to the higher nature is intending to transmute negative energies and emotions into their opposites. So if we have sadness, transmute that into joy. Just intend. If we have jealousy, transmute that into admiration, adoration. If we have hate, transform that into unconditional love. Yes, these are just words. Yes, it's easier said than done. However, the thought has to start somewhere. The action has to start with a thought. And be honest with yourself. If there's resistance, just accept. Just accept. And now let's move into a mantra japa practice, repeating a mantra, and it'll be 2 Sanskrit words. Most of you know these. Om Shanti, universal peace. The way we practice mantra is we become sensitive to the mantra that's already in the heart. Become aware of it there already pulsating. Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Om Shanti. Silently to yourself, hear it from the heart. Hear it coming outwards from the center of the core of your heart. Om Shanti, universal peace. In the heart. If you become distracted, if the mind wanders, just bring it back to the mantra. Please return to your breath now and deepen the inhales and exhales. Actively feel that you're breathing in universal peace when you inhale. And when you exhale, it expands all throughout the body. The more you breathe in and expand this universal peace within you, the better you'll be able to share it out with the world, the more effective you'll be in being an agent of peace with others. Bring your palms to your chest and bow your chin. Give yourself some gratitude for practicing meditation. And slowly come back, open the eyes. Thank you for joining us. Namaste. Tomorrow's Friday, and so we'll be doing this live at 6:30 a.m. tomorrow. Hope to see you then. Have a beautiful day, everyone. It's gorgeous out. Thank you for joining. Bye.